awesome. Like, I want to see more. I want to hear more of the story. We need a title for your book. Like, it's.
I know. I need a title. I know.
And maybe some other time if people want to hear more or find out more, like, we'll continue on with this little format. We're just trying something different of reading our spooky stories. Or
yeah, something for fun.
Funsies and spookies. So
yeah.
Mine's a little longer, but it's very much in tune with ghosty stuff. It's called The Grave Keeper. Then, boo boo boo. I hope.
Oh yeah, boo boo boo.
Boo boo boo. I hope theoretically I can do it justice, because there's a lot of exclamations in here, and I'm not very animated right now because I have no booze in me. See, now if I did this with booze, yeah.
Oh shit, it'd be easy.
Mm-hmm. So as I take a sip of my coffee, clear my throat.
Clear your pipes.
Clear the pipes. All right. So this is called The Grave Keeper. Lock the doors! Hurry! He's coming for me! Jessica screamed as she slammed the front door behind her and swooped through the house. Room by room, she checked all windows, double-checked that they were all securely locked, and repeatedly pulled curtains shut and blinds drawn. Robbie, her older brother, stood in the middle of the hallway, watching his sister act erratically. With a peanut butter spoon hanging out of his mouth, holding the jar in his right hand, asked, Whoa, Jess, what the hell? Where's June? He was trying to figure out this bizarre behavior and what happened to her best friend she left the house with earlier. It's the same best friend, who was supposed to sleep over and was to sneak into Robbie's bedroom later that night. Oh shit, June, she was right behind me, and her voice trailed off. Jess rushed towards the window and then stopped abruptly before opening the curtain. The look of apprehension on her face was clear. Her grip of the material was tight, as her clutch was trembling, causing it to shake. Jess's heart was racing, and the pupils of her eyes were huge. She had a spooked look about her and was afraid to look outside. Then she let go and ran back to the other wall to shut off all the lights in the hallway. The house was dark. Jess, what the fuck? Are you on something? Jesus! Robbie pulled the spoon out of his mouth and put it back in the jar, placing it on the hallway table closest to the light switch, and turned the lights back on. No! Jessica screamed and flickered the light switch off again. June is out there! With him! Jess stuttered as her back was pressed against the wall, and then slid down to the floor and began hugging her knees for comfort. Jess, I don't know what you mean. With him? Who? Who is June with? Robbie asked as he tried to keep his jealousy in check. He walked towards the front door and then placed his hand on the doorknob. Don't go out there, she ordered her brother. Oh, okay, now you're freaking me out. What happened? Who's after you, and where the hell is June? Robbie demanded. Were you girls partying with that Riley douchebag again? We were looking for a little fun, that's all. Harmless fun. I didn't know he existed, Jess admitted. Who? You're not making any sense. I'll go find her. You stay here then, ordered Robbie. No, don't leave me. Don't go outside, she screamed in between sobs. Jess jumped up, flung herself against her older brother, wrapping her arms tightly around him to convince him to stay with her. The Grave Keeper. He saw me. He looked me straight in the eyes. He's coming for me, Jess confessed. She was embarrassed and couldn't face Robbie and cradled her face in the palm of her hands as she wept. She backed away from her sibling and resumed her position against the wall in the dark, like a limp doll to the floor. The grave digger? Really? That's just some slack story they tell the kids to keep out of the cemetery at night, stated Robbie. Even though there was no proof, it was a very old ghost story, a myth that everyone heard of, and it was handed down for years. The story goes that local kids would vandalize the cemetery on date night, the night before Halloween. It would drive the groundskeeper insane with a cleanup the next day. The damage these rogue kids would do with broken beer bottles, torn up wreaths, and the odd occasional tombstone turned over and spray painted. The groundskeeper started to patrol the grave sites to keep out the little underage revelers and prevent any destruction. But one year, as fate would have it, the old man had a heart attack while on watch. The kids who witnessed it thought it was a stunt to scare them and didn't realize he actually died. They thought he passed out drunk, as he had been seen carrying a flask with him as he walked about the graves. So several of the kids, wanting to mess with the old man, dug a shallow grave and threw his body in the hole. But they didn't cover him with dirt, so he could free himself when he woke up. Their last mistake was that when they threw him in the makeshift grave, his eyes remained wide open. 2 of the 3 kids caught their reflection in his glassy stare. They literally looked death in the face. Legend says he wakes up every October 30th and looks for a body to take his place. The gravedigger wasn't happy with the grave the kids dug for him that night, and every year on gate night he returns to finish the job. The gravedigger will use your body if your eyes meet with his, and he has chosen you to be buried alive. Maybe he got June instead, Robbie teased, trying to comfort his sister in some awkward way, and then changed his tune. What the hell were you girls doing at the graveyard to begin with, especially with all the little assholes running around tonight? What were you thinking? Jess continued to sob. Maybe she's the chosen one, theorized Jess as she wiped the tears from under her eyes. Holy shit, don't start believing that crazy mess, warned Robbie. He was a little worried. There were a lot of nut jobs in town. Now with sweet 16-year-old June wandering out in the night somewhere, he knows what can happen. The spirit of the gravekeeper was the last thing on her mind. His night was not going as planned, and he was hoping for a little slap and tickle with June, and not a rescue mission. Okay, sit tight. I'll go chase her down. Don't worry. I didn't stare the gravedigger in the eyes. I'm sure I won't die, Robbie stated. And before Jess objected, her only brother went out the front door. He left her behind. She rose to her feet and was speechless, and she didn't know what was to be more afraid of, her brother going out into the night, or the fact that he had left her alone in the house. She made a quick dash and turned the deadbolt to lock it securely. She peeked behind the slant and the horizontal blinds to look outside, and she could see the outline of her brother's show in the ground as he walked further and further down the street. She took a seat on the floor again, and this time her back was against the door. Fear and panic swirled in her head as she tried to stay awake until she heard from either her brother or her friend. Jess could feel the heavy hit on her head back to the reverberation of the door. It wasn't a fist. It sounded like something like metal swinging against the front door, and then she heard something being dragged from across the porch of the house. Jess jolted up, and in a standing position she was terrified to look outside, and then she wondered if Robbie had his house keys or not, but would be sure that he would shout at her to unlock the door if he hadn't. She looked outside cautiously. Everything was still, quiet, no breeze, no cars. Only the glow of the moonlight casting mysterious and distorting tree shadows. Then on the top step she noticed something strange. It was the peanut butter jar her brother was eating out of, and when she rushed home. What the hell? Jess thought to herself. Instantly she thought it was Robbie and was trying to get back in the house. All fear aside, Jess opened the lock on the front door. She leaned forward to retrieve the oddly placed peanut butter jar, and then 2 steps onto the porch, she heard the front door swinging closed behind her. As she swung around to grab the door handle by the hand, a deathly cold hand gripped her on the wrist. She looked up, and it was her friend June. Her eyeballs were missing, as the hollowed-out sockets were peering into Jess's terrified face. Jess tried to scream, but nothing came out. The icy grip on Jess's hand tightened even more. Jess, you naughty girl. You took off so fast. You left me to meet Riley, didn't you? I can't believe you left me. That's okay. I brought the gravedigger with me, 'cause he wanted to meet you tonight, explained June as she looked to her right. Jess sharply turned her head to see a looming figure standing over her with a raised shovel, just before it came hammering down on her head. Instantly, Jess lost consciousness as an outline of blood started to encase her body on the porch before being dragged off by the gravedigger towards the cemetery outside of town. The end.
Ooh, creepy.
Creepy crawlies.
Creepy cool. Very good.
Don't
girl.
eat
I like it.
the message to this is don't eat peanut butter out of the jar with a spoon. See what happens?
The moral of the story.
The moral of the story is don't fucking use your spoon from your mouth into the peanut butter jar. And now Robbie's dead too. Again, my stammer. Aw, not the brother.
Not the brother.
And nobody was having sex. No teenagers were actually having sex in the store, and they still get whacked off. I mean, whacked off. Bad choice of words. Wah, wah, wah.
Oh my god, that was really good, Jess.
Thanks. It was just something.
I enjoyed it.
A little something I threw together.
Very, very good. Very good.
A little something.
A little something. I enjoyed it immensely.
Well, I guess now I have to go edit these things we put together. So I guess we'll sign
First, we must
off.
eat. It's
I
lunchtime.
know, right? But thanks, Cher, for doing this joint call with us. It's just easier this way for this crazy week.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was cool.
Halloweeny week. It's a very special, spooky week.
Spooky week, spooktacular.
Crazy, scary, and again, if anybody has any stories or would like to get a hold of us, let us know if you like this little bit that we spun. I mean, we won't be doing it
A
often.
little
shtick.
No, just
No.
a little
Yeah, it was just for funsies. So
yeah.
and
Halloween funsies.
Halloween funsies. Ooh. Be good to your little critters that come to the door.
Yep.
Keep it real.
Yep.
Don't
Feed
scare
them
them,
well.
and don't scare them too much. That's the worst part. Eh?
No.
I know.
No.
I like to have a little fun with them though too. But
yeah.
Anyway. All right,
Very
and
fun.
again, I'll just give out our email address: givinguptheghostpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. Facebook, Twitter, Tweeter.
You do that.
What else?
Have
Oh,
at it.
Instagrammer.
That's
Message
right.
us all. Share
Yeah,
stories.
we
please.
want to hear from you, and thank you again for listening. Actually, there's quite a few people listening to us now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very
We're
much.
very humble. We're just two little ghosty girls, just chilling,
Yeah.
relaxing, drinking,
Just
swearing.
singing,
Actually,
drinking.
this Halloween week episode, we haven't really sworn that much. It must be the booze factor, hey? I don't know.
Really?
I don't think
yeah,
so.
I know.
Anyway, that's cool too.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Fucking rights. Anyway.
If it must be, it must be.
Fucking rights. Anyway. Anyway, live every day, as always, like it's your last.
But never give up the ghosts.
Never give up the ghosties. Woo.
Bye
For now.